Welcome to LearnHowToQuilt.com. I'm Ann, and today I'll be showing you how to put together one of these 4-patch table toppers. All you need are two 2.5-inch strips and one 4.5-inch strip to make this little topper. Originally, I planned on showing you how quick it is to sew up one of these little toppers, but along the way I kind of got stuck in talking about fabric color and other things, and this video ended up being a little long. Below you'll find links to all the topics covered, so you can skip ahead if you want. Come on in and let's get started. You'll find the links below for this supply list and for this other handout. I've listed the fabrics needed for a 12 by 20 inch runner, but you can add more fabric to make this larger, or you can use less fabric for a smaller topper. In this video, you'll get directions for strip piecing using 3 different fabrics. Of course, you can always make this topper just using squares. I often do this when I want to use up leftover scraps. When choosing fabric, most of us think about color first, which is okay, but that's just the beginning of the process. Actually, in this table topper, color is probably the least important attribute when you go to pick out your fabric. I had a whole spiel for you about the color wheel and how to decide if the color's pure or if things have been added, like maybe a little red to make it yellow-orange or a little blue to make it green. But for this project, this isn't necessary. For most quilters, choosing the colors to work with is pretty easy. If I want a yellow quilt, I'll use yellow. Finding the right values and prints is usually more difficult. This project looks good in most colors and many different fabric prints. That's why it's such a popular block. However, in order to make this 4-patch design stand out, you'll need to pay most attention to the values of your fabric choices. The value of the fabric changes depending on which fabric it's next to. For example, if I was just considering these 2 fabrics, I could say this is a light and this is a dark. If I'm just thinking about these 2 fabrics, I could say this is a light and this is a dark. But if I'm considering all 3 fabrics, then I would say this is the lightest, this is the darkest, and this is in between, so I'll call this a medium. So in choosing fabric for this project, you'll want a light, a dark, and a medium in order to make your 4-patch block stand out. So in this block, you can see that the black is a dark, the yellow is a light, and this mixture, this printed fabric here, I would consider a medium. You would think that choosing blacks and yellows for determining value would be a no-brainer because black's always going to be the dark and yellow's always going to be the light. But that's not actually the case all the time. So I have these 3 fabrics here, and you'll notice there's not as much contrast between them as the last yellow and black grouping. When I use these in this runner, the 4-patch block doesn't stand out. It sort of blends in with the square. What I notice most are the yellow diagonals. In this combo, there's more contrast between the fabrics. The floral squares don't blend in as much with the 4-patch blocks. Neither one of the fabric choices in these runners is wrong. I'm just trying to point out how different values can change the look of your project. When choosing fabric, you'll also want to pay attention to the pattern. You want to look at the size of the pattern in relation to the size of the pieces in your project. These squares are smaller, so you'll need a smaller print fabric. If you use a larger print, like this, it's okay, but when you start cutting it up into these smaller squares, it might not look the same. The value of your fabric might change depending on where you cut. So this is much darker, and this might be a medium. Think about what's going to happen if you use a directional fabric. Now this is pretty small and they're sort of stripes. They're not perfect. You might not have very many problems with this. But often if you decide to use directional fabric like these stripes, you can run into problems. You'll have to worry about the direction of the stripes and which part of the stripes are showing. So you might want to avoid them completely. Something that might be useful when you're looking at pattern is I'll make a little template the size of the piece that needs to be cut out. So if I decide to cut this as a strip, 2 inches wide, I'll get some of these little red circles. It looks like they're pretty random, so I can probably get away with that. So if I cut this as a strip, I might have to be careful because I can see that this is kind of a directional fabric here. There's a line of these flowers and then a line of these here. If I cut the strip like this, it might look funny if that's not centered each time. This could be a problem. So this is a big pattern and I might decide to cut my 4-inch blocks out of this. So if I go down and I cut a strip at 4.5 inches, I'm going to get some of these black marks in it. And I also see when I look at this fabric, it might not look directional, but you'll notice that there's a line of these darker motifs. So if I were to cut strips, you might notice that. Instead of cutting strips out of this fabric and having to deal with these black designs, I decided to fussy cut 4.5-inch squares. It takes a little bit longer, but I wanted to use up this fabric. Now on these strips for the 4 patch, I thought maybe I could get away with this, but I decided I didn't want to deal with having to fussy cut each one of those. So I ended up going with the other fabric. This print was much more random than this design. However, you can see that when everything's put together, this larger print distracts the eye. It's okay, but I think a smaller print would have worked better. Your best bet is to stick to small prints that look okay inside that 2-inch square. You can use a little bit larger print inside that 4-inch square, and you want to make sure that you have a light, medium, and a dark. I usually like to use graph paper to draw up my 4-patch block to get an idea how big it's going to be. And then I can add seam allowance around the outside edge to figure out the cutting sizes. If using graph paper isn't your thing, there's a quick formula that you can follow. You take the finished size of your 4-patch block, divide it by 2, and then add a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So if you want a 4-inch 4-patch block finished size, you would take 4 divided by 2, you end up with 2, and then add a 1/2 inch. You'll need to cut 2.5-inch squares in order to make a 4-inch 4-patch block. If you decide you want to use strip piecing for your 4-patch blocks, you'll need to follow this same formula and then cut your strips 2.5 inches wide. To figure out the cutting sizes of these squares that go between the 4-patch blocks, just add seam allowance around your 4-patch block, or you can use a formula. You take the finished size of your block, which is 4 inches, and add a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So that comes out to be 4.5 inches. So you would cut these squares 4.5 inches. For a 3-inch finished size block, you'd cut these squares 3.5 inches. To make the small runner, you'll need 2 strips for the 4-patch block and 1 strip for the squares. Cut a 4.5-inch strip, keep the strip folded, and then cut it into 4.5-inch sections. You'll end up with 9 of these when you trim this last end piece. Cut 2.5-inch wide strips. To get a table topper that's 5 blocks by 3 blocks, or 20 inches by 12 inches, you'll need 1 of each strip. Double this, 2 strips of each, and you'll get a 40-inch by 12-inch runner. You'll be sewing these strip sets together into pairs. Put right sides together and then sew a 1/4-inch seam. After sewing these strips together, you'll want to press your seams towards the dark. Then line up your fabric on your cutting board and then cut every 2.5 inches. You'll get 16 to 17 of these segments out of each strip set. So each strip set will make 8 of these 4-patch blocks. To match these intersections, I'll put right sides together. I want to line up the edges here and on both ends. Let's pull this back. You want to match this intersection. And I'm not sure if you can see, but this is just over a little in that direction. So let's pull this over, and I can just feel it nestle in there because of the way it's been pressed. And you can see that this seam is butting up against this seam. So I'll shut that. You can put a pin there or hold on to it. I start with the leader. I'm sewing a 1/4 inch seam. I'll hold this with my end of my scissors, just sort of gently guiding it. I'm not pulling on it. I like to sew off on a piece of scrap. Let me open this, and there's my intersection. After stitching, press your seams, and here's my 4-patch block. Now's a good time to check your accuracy. You sew this block together, bring it over to your pattern, line it up on the edges. It should go all the way to this 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I see I'm a little short here. So if you haven't drawn one of these, you can check that block against these 4.5 inch blocks that you cut out. And I see that this is a little short here. My accuracy is based on how I cut, how I sew, and how I press. I turn this over. Let me check these seams. That looks pretty good. That seam looks like it's exactly a 1/4 inch. All those seams look very good. What about cutting? I can go around and check each one of these blocks. They should be exactly 2.5 inches. That looks pretty good. It might be just a thread off, but that's pretty good. So the last thing I'll look at is pressing. And if I pull my block, you can see when I pressed, I left some of that fabric over here. And let's see this one. Oh yeah, when I pull this back, I can see. So let me take this over and press. So here's my block, and I can see that it is almost exactly 4.5 inches. Let's put it up against this one. Oh, I still have a little extra there, but it's pretty close. It looks much better than it did last time. Lay out your blocks. Put right sides together. Make sure to pin or clip the side to be sewn. I like to hold this side in my right hand while stacking the pairs. Then I walk these pairs over to my machine and place the side to be sewn next to my needle. After sewing each set, press to the 4.5 inch square. Then lay out your blocks. Put right sides together and continue sewing till each row is complete. Make sure you pay attention when you're laying out your blocks. I was in a hurry when I laid out the second section, and you can see that I mixed up this block and this block. The black should be in this corner here, so I'll have to rip out these seams and then turn the block around. It's okay to leave it like this if you're going for sort of a mixed up look, but this first section has all the dark in this corner. So you get a secondary design running on these diagonals. Now you're ready to match these rows. Put right sides together. I like to start in the middle here to match these intersections. And then I pin because this is such a long section to sew together. Then after pinning, I'll take this over to be sewn. You might run across something that looks like this where the ends don't match. I usually kind of split the difference. meaning that I match this up to here. I see that this checkered piece is a little short, so I'll match this up, and then when I come over here, I'll raise this just a little, about halfway up, and then I'll pin. Then continue in this manner till they've all been sewn together. I decided to make 2 of these sections, so I'll sew them together here. But before I sew, I made sure to press the seams on this piece in that direction, and the seams on this piece in this direction, so I have opposing seams and the intersections will match up easier. I cut a piece of batting about 1/2 inch shorter than my runner. I pinned these together and then added some stitching in the ditch. I cut the backing the same size, then I put right sides together and pinned around the edges. I sewed a 1/4 inch seam, leaving about a 4-inch opening for turning. I trimmed the corners and then pressed after turning. You can sew the opening by hand or catch it when top stitching around the edge. And here's a completed runner. You don't have to stick to my measurements. Try using different size strips. This smaller one's my favorite. Try different layouts. Change out the center blocks to add interest. Now is a great time to explore using borders. They'll make your project bigger, maybe add a little pizzazz, and can help you square up your quilt. For more info, check out our video on squaring up. Hope you get a chance to play around with 4-patch blocks. If you have any questions or observations, please comment below or send me an email at ann@learnhowtoquilt.com. Thanks for visiting our channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our videos with your friends. Thanks.